Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Everything is so different.
Everything is different today. Did you notice this too?
Yes, yeah, it is
Yeah.
different today.
Very, very different. Also here, I mean, everything is different. This is interesting. And I would like to speak about this movement to spring in terms of also um, symbolical or qualitative numbers.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Thank you. And Jeff, did you notice something irregular or unusual today?
Um, you mean in general?
In general, something that or everything happens as it usually is.
Um, I haven't, not today. I mean, a lot of times, yes, but not today yet. Other than I am very happy it's spring.
Good, good. Also, we see that the sun is struggling here to penetrate the clouds. There's like heavy blankets of clouds around us, and the sun is really struggling to break through. But we hope that
Did
you
you
will come.
you got out of your stormy pattern though?
Um, yeah, partially, partially. Yes, we're
Oh,
on the
just
way
partially.
out. Yes, yes, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, you're on the way out of it. Okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you for asking. And Victoria, good afternoon. Thank you for coming here today.
Yeah. Greetings, Victoria.
Before we move to read the verses that I'd like to discuss with you today, do you have questions or references, impressions that you would like to share with us before we go to read the verses?
I don't. I'm just excited. We
Good.
actually have a lot of sunshine today, so it's really pretty here.
And
So I'm
yeah,
just, yeah, excited to get started.
good. And Jeff, do you have sunshine today?
It's overcast, but we're probably going to have our warmest day of the season, right around 70 degrees.
Wow.
And then the rain's going to come in though for about the next 3 days. So that'll get the flowers and stuff maybe
Hmm.
going, or the grass anyway.
Good.
So yeah, happy
So,
for spring.
yes. So let's pop into the whiteboard and see what do we have here and who would like to read this morning. Three verses, but it's a new start. Who would like to read?
I can read.
Thank you.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to their father's house, a lamb for a household.
Thank you. Thank you. Why Moses say that this will be the first month in Hebrew, Rosh Chodashim? Why is it so important before all the course of Exodus starts to term the time? Rosh Chodashim, head of months. Why is it so important? And not just for historical event, but in general. Rosh, 1 second, I'll write it here. Rosh is a head. 1 second, take the ink that fits. Rosh Chodashim. Rosh Chodashim. Why this is so important? Head of months. Fernando, good morning. First, why is it so important to count or to say this is the beginning or this is where we start? What does it give to the person who counts, who noticed the time? Like Jill open says, this is the beginning of spring, or equinox, the day and the light are equal in terms of light. In the south hemisphere, this is the beginning of autumn. Why is it so important to make a distinction, or to count, or to start counting in general? What does it give us?
Seems like it gives us a starting point, or it gives us a hope that change is coming, maybe.
Yes, yes. Once we count, or once there's the distinction, there's a new hope, new life is coming. There's a new order. Once we count, now it doesn't matter, now it's about Moses or a child learns to count. A child learns how to count. There is an order. The sages are saying something very interesting about counting. They say that the mind of a baby is, one second, how do they say this in Hebrew? Because I move into the English. They say ofes. Ofes. Ofes means soft. Soft. Babies, they're just drinking milk. They cannot speak. They cannot count. Ofes. Ofes. But the mind, this is the mind of a baby. It's a soft mind. He cannot speak. He cannot count. But when the baby grows up, he can count. And then we have the same letters, but in different order. Sofer. Sofer. He can count. Also, he can tell. Saper, he can tell. He can speak. Now, what is the relation between a soft mind or a person who cannot count or tell and slavery? And we don't speak now about historical slavery.
Can you repeat that question?
What is the relation between soft mind, like baby's mind, a mind that cannot speak, a mind that cannot tell a story, a mind that cannot count, and slavery? What is the relation? And why is the first thing that they are receiving from Moses is a timeline, or better, calendar for freedom? Why is it so important to have a calendar or a time log? How do we bundle all of those facts together? What is the relation between a mindset of a slave and a mindset of a baby?
They both, it seems like, have to follow the instruction of somebody who's in charge of taking care of them.
Yes.
Like they're subject to them.
Yes, excellent.
There you go.
Yes, excellent.
Very nice.
Yes. So the first thing that I'm receiving from Moses is like a new calendar, a new counting. And you count yourself. You're in charge. It's very important for a sovereign to be in charge. Rodrigo, good morning. We're very happy that you're here. Fernando, we're very happy.
Good morning, Eti. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, shalom. How are you today?
I'm fine, Eti. Thank you very much.
Bom dia, Eti.
Bom dia, Lisiane. How are you today?
Ótima, melhor agora.
She's great, better now.
Very good to hear you. Very good, very good. Lisiane, today we're speaking about freedom.
Okay, I will tell her. Thank you very much, Eti.
Thank you.
We are ready to follow you.
Thank you. And Fernando is here. Good morning, Fernando. I hope you can speak.
Shalom, friends.
Shalom.
Good evening, Eti. Good morning, all the friends.
Shalom. Now, I would like to hear from you questions about the text or the page of the Haggadah the Haggadah that we see here on the right side of the whiteboard. The Haggadah is from the 14th century. The Haggadah is a book or the story of going out of Egypt. Haggadah comes from lehagid. Lehagid is to tell. We know the word magid, the one who tells a story, magid. And first, what is your impression from this Haggadah? And please note, this is a very special Haggadah. Its name is the Bird's Head Haggadah. Why? If you notice here, we see here a man is baking, maybe a matzah, and the shape of the head or the front part of the face is shaped like a bird beak. Also here the man with the blue who is serving the matzah for the oven or for the fire has a face of a bird. What is your impression? Why the person who chose, or the artist who chose to decorate the Haggadah, chose to crown the people or to grant them with a face of a bird? What was his aim? What happens in the 14th century in Europe? This is from Europe. What is your general idea about it? Or if you have something to say in general or to ask, please feel free.
Maybe the bird represents freedom. Usually the bird is an expression of freedom.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. In the covenant of the parts, when Abraham is asked to put a few animals together and the fire goes between them, the text says that he did not cut the bird. The bird or the dove. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
please,
no.
please go ahead.
No.
No, I just remember that there is a word in Hebrew. I believe it's of with ein,
Yes.
vav, and fei,
Yes.
which means birds, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the value of this word is 156.
Excellent. Yes. Yes.
As Joseph, and 6 times the tetragrammaton, and the vav, the connection, and
Yes.
and there is 6 birds in this picture. So I just remember this.
Very good. There are 6 birds in. Yes, there are 6 birds' heads in this. Of is a chicken or wing owners or master of wings. Baal kanaf or of is 156. It's like 6 times tetragrammaton or the value of Joseph. Yes. Yes. Do you remember what happened in the 14th century in Europe in general? Something happened. Yes?
In Spain?
Again, a plague. A plague.
A plague.
A plague. A plague. Yes. It's not clear. This is still a riddle or to professors why this special Haggadah is telling the story. This is Haggadah is from South Germany, around Würzburg, and there is still a riddle. Nobody knows why the decorator or the artist chose to introduce the people who are preparing for Passover or preparing the matzah, to introduce them with the bird's head. It's not clear. But later in history, we find then when the plague continued in Venice, we already find like posters. There is a, special drawing of Dr. Plague, and he appears with this, so to speak, the first mask to protect from plague, and it looks like a bird head. So it might be that there is a relation, because so far nobody understands why, and nobody so far connects it to the great plague that happened in Europe. So now please feel free to ask questions, to comment. Yes. Victoria is asking, why didn't Abraham why didn't Abraham cut the birds in Genesis 15? He did not cut the bird, tzipor, tzipor. He did not cut the bird in this night. Tzipor, 1 second. Does the sound tzipor reminds you of something? Tzipor is a bird.
Zipporah.
Tzipora.
Tzipora, very good. Tzipora, very good. Tzipora. Tzipor. And we have tzipora. Very good. Tzipor is a bird. It comes from two, or it's a, how do you say, note of two words. Tzaf, floating. O, light, floating light. In other words, what is tzipor in Hebrew? Tzaf, O, when the light is floating the universe. This is when we hear the sound of the bird, tzipor, in the morning. How do we know morning comes? We hear the birds tweeting. Tzipor, tzaf, O, floating light. They have the sense, and this is in a way also connects us to the chicken off that Rodrigo was mentioning. Once there was experiment, it's not pleasant, but people did it. They want to see if they close the male chicken, the rooster, with a very dark condition, without any exposure to nature or light, they will still make a sound, cuckoo in the morning before the dawn. And they did it, and they completely put them in a bunker under very heavy restrictions and no connection to light, not connection almost to air. And the rooster knew exactly when to make the first sound before dawn is coming. So why, to answer Victoria, why did not Abraham cut or open the bird? Because it's impossible, because it's not a bird that he did not cut. ואת הציפור לא בטר, and the ציפור, צף אור, and the floating light he did not cut, because, simple, it's impossible to cut or to separate the light. The light is one. Questions or thoughts? Jill?
And his covenant, the covenant is with the light.
Yes.
In essence.
Yes. The covenant.
You don't want to cut yourself from the covenant. It's connect yourself.
Yes.
Or be connected. So I can see why, in that way, while God is giving him this promise and this covenant, why there'd be no cutting on his part, right?
Yes. 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 In the flesh, in the matter, there's like cutting and separation. But in the light, you cannot, because it's one. It's impossible.
It does remind me of what we've been reading in Esther as well, that in a sense Haman tried to cut that cord of light,
yes,
from the people, and he could not do it. He thought he could, but he could not. He could only get himself removed from the material.
Thank you, Jeff. Questions? Rodrigo, Fernando, Jill. Questions?
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Um, about this idea of the beginning of the month
Yes.
and the importance of it, like the head of the month.
Yes.
When we read the ancient books of the sages,
Yes.
some sages like Abulafia and others gives a lot of importance to the beginning of the month, saying that it is an opportunity like to plant a seed that will resonate through all the month that is coming. So the new moon, it's like a great time to do this. And not only the new moon, the new year, or or even the holidays. It's like when the sky is open to receive an intention from the one who is here.
Yes.
And you just said here that in fact we didn't need this counting every day is the day, but since we forget it, since we forget our potential,
Yes.
the beginning of the month maybe is the day to remember it. I don't know what you think about it.
Yes. Thank you. The beginning of the month is the potential, the abundance that streams to us, to our conscious, comes every month. In the beginning we speak about the moon months, when the moon is being born. So, and what is 3 days? How many hours are 3 days?
72 hours.
72 hours. And yes, and what 72 stand for?
The name of the Lord.
Yes. Yes, please. Yes. Who would like to open the 72?
The Tetragrammaton and its filling,
Yes.
and grace and wisdom.
Yes, Tetragrammaton in its filling with the letter Yod. This is 72. What else do we have as 72?
Grace,
Grace
I think, and wisdom.
and wisdom. Yes. And what happens if we put here 0? What do we get?
720, 720.
Yes.
Bereshit.
Bereshit, there's a new beginning. This is why the 72 hours or the 3 days or of every moon month or every beginning of a new year, the 72 or the 3 days and 3 nights, they give us the full potential of new life. Yes. Yes,
Like
usually. Yes.
like 1 to 4 as well. 2 times 7, 14.
Yes. Yes. 2
Full
times.
potential, full hand.
Yes. Yes. Sorry? Yes, excellent. So this is why usually at the beginning of a new moon month, people are sitting together, the friends, and they just sitting and in a way silently receiving the new mind. They call it a new mind. Every month or every moon month which is being born, there's a new mind. It's like a download. Yes, so all humanity is charged with a new mind every moon month. There's a new software, a new update, so we get new thoughts, new associations, new innovation. Every moon we start from the beginning. So last week we celebrated Purim, and Purim is in the middle of the month, So in 2 weeks, from today, approximately, we shall see or celebrate the month of Nisan. This is the first month of spring. Its name is interesting, its value is more interesting, and so on. But slowly, yes?
You say its name and value is interesting.
Yes. Yes, we shall open it because in this is the topic of the reading today.
Yeah.
Yes, we shall open it and write it. Its name is Nisan.
Mm-hmm.
Nisan. It means 2 things. Comes from Nes, miracle. Did I spell it right or I exchanged the letters?
That's correct.
It's okay, Jill, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Yes, Nes is a miracle. Nes is a miracle. And also Nisan is very similar to Nitzan with the tzaddik. Nitzan is a bud because when spring is coming, the buds, before the flowers opens to the world, we see buds. And this is what the Book of Solomon, the Song of Solomon says, Nitzanim nir'u ba'aretz. The buds are being seen in the country or in the will. Because the speech is not about, how do you say, about, this is not a description of agriculture. And this is, suddenly we feel a bud, a new life inside of our inner will. Hanitzanim nir'u ba'aretz. Hanitzanim, the buds, were seen not just in the country. Hanitzanim nir'u ba'aretz. Aretz is not just a ground or territory in the will. We sense there's a new buds, new life, which are coming and revealed themselves to us in our inner will. Each one and his buds. So, why do we say Nisan from Nes, miracle? Because it's a miracle that there is a redemption. And again, yes, it's a miracle. And
Yes.
Nitzan is a bud. Yes, in spring, before the flowers, we see the buds. And what is the bud? Is the potential of the flower. The whole potential. Now, the value of Nisan. Let's look at the value. 1 second. Nisan. We have 50, 10, 60, and 50. How much do we have?
170.
Yes. What is 170 or 17?
Tov.
Tov. Very good. 17 is Tov. Good.
Mhm.
Good. 10 times good. Nisan. Now, questions or thoughts?
Eti. So we have Pesach, right?
Yes.
On Nisan.
Pesach. Very good. Pesach.
Pesach.
Yes.
And it said that Pesach is like when we overcome the matter,
Yes.
like when we overcome Malchut only, or to be scattered, to be separated from the tree of life.
Yes. Yes. It's very interesting what you say because it means also Pe Sach. Sach is telling. Telling mouth. And it brings us to the beginning of the conversation because babies, they cannot speak when they're soft, very soft. They will develop the ability to speak only later in their lives. So what does it mean, Pesach? That a human mouth can speak. and mirrors the experience that he has. Pe is the mouse. Sach is speaking.
This is beautiful because I was thinking that Pesach could represent the one who is leaving Malchut and going to the tree of life, like going to the Yesod.
Yes.
And one name for Yesod is Tov,
Yes.
because the tzaddik is Tov, so the Zohar usually refers Yesod as Tov.
Yes.
And now you are saying that Pesach could represent the one who conquered the ability to speak. And this is beautiful and precise, because when we think about Malchut as Asiyah, Asiyah is the world of action. And Yetzirah, where stands Yesod, is the world of formation, and is related with feeling and speech. These two elements are related with this world of formation. So it's very beautiful how the things relate in the macrocosm and the microcosm. The one who has the ability to speak about the secrets is making the Pesach, maybe.
Yes. Yes, it's very good what you say about like manual labor and mechanical in Malchut or in Asiya. Usually what people takes as life is what we do in life. And we move. Some people work in different places, they move things and they think this is life, to move things mechanically. This is not. What does it mean to be alive? Is to have the ability to speak and to tell. And this ability is related to the heart.
And as you said a few moments ago, then also the actions mirror the speech, right? That you were saying that.
Yes. What is when the actions are mirroring the speech? This is the tree of life. Yes, this is the tree of life. Because what is happening usually in the world that people say, "Well, I'm just a labor power. I'm just doing things. Don't expect from me anything because I'm just like a blue collar or something. I'm just doing things."
Just a robot
Yes.
kind of thing.
They don't expect from themselves, and they don't expect that others will and to be able to speak and to sit next to the table is like another step. We are not just robots moving materials from left to right also, but we can relate, because like you say, a robot which is programmed also can move boxes from left to right.
Yeah, we're more than that.
T,
Yes.
I don't want to go so far, but in this weekend I was talking with Fernando, and we talk about exactly about this, but there is, I believe, one step up above, I believe, because the beginning is the Bria, maybe, the word of creation, which could represent our thoughts also. And these thoughts should be connected with the spiritual world. And then we can speak about this and doing as Jeff and you are talking about right now. So I believe there is like a chain, the thought, the speech, and the action. And all of this should be walk in the same direction.
Yes, yes, you're right. And also the Haggadah, the story of going out of Egypt, is like in standing, or how do you say, expressing itself in the mark of four. And we have four sons in the Haggadah. four suns. It's like four elements inside of us, wisdom, or the world of Atzilut, the nobility world inside of us. And we have Bri'ah, the creation inside of us. And we have Yetzirah, formation inside. We have worlds inside of us, inner worlds, that most of the people are not aware of their existence. For this reason, we are telling the story of going out of Egypt, because every verse, every chapter, every paragraph is telling us about ourselves. But sometimes we read about ourselves we read about people who participate in the story, or we read about the four suns or four elements, but the actual happening is revealing to us what is hiding inside of us, and we did not know because we thought that we are robots, slaves, unimportant, unworthy, and so on. This is the story of going out of Egypt. You are treasure. This is what the story wants to tell us. You are divine treasure. We are divine treasure. This is the exposition. This is the revealing.
We are not slaves.
No, not at all. This is why all night, the evening, people read the Haggadah and like special symbolic things at the table that we speak about, we taste it, but the aim is to sit around the table the whole night long, not go to sleep, sitting, drinking, speaking the story of going out to Egypt until the dawn comes. And the dawn comes. This is the salvation, the dawn of the salvation. Sitting all night, speaking about the Geulah, because Galut is the exile, and we add the Aleph inside of the Galut, the unity and the one, and we have redemption, Geulah of salvation. So we speak the whole night long next to the table until the morning comes. So there's a parallel process. There is a night outside the window. There's like stars and so, but there's also parallel night inside of us, because we are not aware, all of us humans, that there's a soul inside of us. We're not aware. We speak, we write, we drive cars and so, but we do not know. This is the darkness. This is why we find the term the dark night of the soul, because we are more aware of our bodies than we are aware of our souls. Yes.
And the body can be an indication, though, if you pay attention to if the soul is chafed or not, right? Like,
Yes.
we just want to treat the symptoms of the body, but not take care of the soul. And really, the symptom is external, but that's not the real thing that's needing attention. The real thing is the soul that needs attention.
The soul.
But
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, please, Jeff. Yes.
I was just wondering, now when you say about that night sitting up and telling the story, is that in sync then? I'm just trying to get clarification here.
Yes.
Is that in sync then with the new moon?
Oh.
When this happens?
Okay. So in the beginning, the head of Nisan starts in a way Aleph Nisan. We have, 1 second, I'll increase the ink here, 1 second. Aleph Nisan starts, where is it? Here. And we count 14 days. This is the beginning. Aleph Nisan. This is the beginning. And then we count 14 days. 14 days. And then we have Passover.
Okay. Okay.
So Passover is a full moon.
Passover itself is
It's
full
a full
moon,
moon.
so
It's a full moon.
like you're starting with
Darkness.
Nisan.
Yes.
Nisan must be halfway there then to the full moon. Is that right?
Yes, Nisan starts with darkness. First of Nisan, when you look at the western sky, there's nothing. Stars, but there's no moon. This is
Yeah.
darkness. This is,
Yeah.
yes. Maybe in the second of Nisan, maybe in the third of Nisan, there is a banana moon, like the beginning of a moon. Yes, we call it banana. But Aleph Nisan, the first of Nisan, is completely darkness. And we are counting 14 days. And then we have full moon.
And we realize that we have a fresh start,
Yes.
a fresh mind.
Yes.
And we're 14 days then from the full moon.
Yes.
Okay.
It is very important when in the beginning, usually we are, as people, are afraid from darkness. We are afraid of nothing. We are afraid of silence. And every beginning of the beginning of new month starts with those things, with nothing, with darkness, with silence.
And we're afraid of silence?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Because silence speaks. When there's
Oh,
silence,
yeah.
yes,
People in general are afraid of silence. They just want noise, you're saying.
yes. Because
Okay.
when there's a silence, the voice of the soul inside is being heard in this wilderness. And
Yeah.
we usually don't want to hear it. So we're
Yeah.
blocking ourselves off. We go to movies, we go to parties, hangover, just
Yeah.
not to hear it.
Right.
But it's very important to give this attention to the darkness, to host the darkness, to give it attention, because only when darkness there, new thing can come. Because in the darkness we feel ourselves as zero. We feel ourselves as nothing. We feel there's no hope. Tomorrow there's no morning. Where this life is going, there's no logic. There's no course. Everything is doom and gloom. It's very important to feel it. Not to
Yeah.
push it away. Not to push it away, because this is the agar. This is the base. This is the ground for a new life. Specifically, the nothingness.
This is very good what you're saying, Eddie, because it reminds me that we need to tell our friends to face that darkness. Don't push it away. Listen.
No, yes, it is very important.
Experience it. You know, who's out there telling people to experience it? You know, no, rather we're going to give you a prescription. We're going to give you pills for your depression, in your bipolar situation, whatever, just to cover it, you know. But you're saying we need to experience that and face it. And what else would you like to say about that, Eddie?
It is important to feel it, to give it space. And in ancient time, there used to be an ancient religion in Greece. Yes, they used to call it I don't know how to, Orpheus religion or so. So they used to give it a lot of respect. To be somewhere in a space conceived and to be with oneself. We are running away with this conversation with the soul. We are running away from this. We'd rather do things, manage things. Yes?
Keep ourselves busy. You know,
Yes.
just we'd rather keep ourselves busy. Just pile stuff on top of whatever the soul is crying out. And then of course, things break down when you keep doing this that way.
Not to be afraid from the darkness. If a person feels whatever he feels, either you say to a friend or write, not to be afraid. So we are hosting. It's not who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are is the soul. This is the answer to who we are. We are a divine soul. But when we feel darkness, so we host darkness. We host inconvenience. We host stress moments. We are not, this basic distinction of who we are and what do I do, we don't have this distinction. Each and every one of us is a divine soul. This is who we are. But since the divine soul comes here for a lifetime, we experience what the divine soul is experiencing in time and space. So we experience sadness, and sometimes we experience stress or inconvenience. But this is what the body experiences, not the soul. The soul, in a way, is infinite light. The limitations are coming from the matter or life in a form that our body experience. The soul does not have a problem at all.
And so, excuse me. So when there's a connection then in this darkness, on a fresh start and a listening to your soul, also then miracles begin to appear.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You were talking about miracle with the word Nissan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it can be a turning point in many, many ways.
Yes.
To make that connection.
Yes, this is it. Not to be afraid. Not to be afraid of moments of nothingness. Not to be afraid of uncertainty. Not to be afraid of current changes. What turbulence we had. Things like Jill also experienced this morning. Everyone in his realm. But moment after moment, you just roll like a mouse in this, in this bicycle. It's just, we're crossing those moments that are new to us, and we're just moving through infinite tunnels, and to accept it and to believe that though we are moving through those tunnels, that we mental tunnels basically, we shall land good. Yes?
Yeah.
Not to be afraid, because it's very, very different. We experience this daily here. Nothing is certain. Everything is moving to different directions, and not to be afraid.
Well, and to know that God's loving, guiding hand is at work.
Yes.
In all these things.
Yes.
And to look for the blessing that is coming soon on the other side of the darkness.
Yes, and you know what? Things are coming in a non-linear way. They are coming like in symbols. They are coming through the reality that we are experiencing. They are coming from another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are used to relate to only what is frontal. There's a board, and I see there's like information on the board. So people read the information on the board, but something usually interesting is happening between our eyes, or the notion that we have at the moment that we are reading, and then there's a third space come, between us and the board, and something is happening in this third space or this triangle. So usually people are focusing in the frontal. What is in front of my eyes? This is the enemy, I don't like him, and so on. But something, and the most important things, is happening not between the person that we're looking at or ourselves, but something in between. This is where life is. It's in the hidden, but also between. And we are approaching interesting times as humanity, when all of us are being moved as humanity to move to another realm inside of us. Not to leave just too much the frontal.
Yeah, we are being moved. A lot of what people thought was real or true, as far as
Yes, this
your
is it. This is it.
your frontal perspective on things is being demolished.
Yes. The world, this is very interesting what you're saying. The world that the land is still standing, the trees are still growing, but the perspectives or our perception or the way we thought life is not anymore. And in a way, we move to another world, but people don't find themselves. Where is the world that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago? This world is gone. Why? I mean, the trees are still standing and the sun is shining, but the way we thought about the world had changed.
Yeah, there's less and less satisfaction with just the way things look on the surface. There's a time when people could be pretty satisfied with it, at least fool themselves that way. But it's becoming more and more apparent and obvious to the general people that it's not working. And you know, it is a shepherding by our great Lord to cause us to make that interconnection with Him, or else continue to be dismayed by the disassembling of everything that's false. You know, people will fight. They will fight for their illusion to the bitter end sometimes.
This is interesting what you're saying. This is very, very interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
That people will fight to prove their illusion or for their. This is so profound. This is it. Or we admit that this world is not working and we move on.
Right. And we go with the Spirit because He's calling us. You know, He's calling us to walk with Him.
I've been thinking in Switzerland they build an accelerator.
Yes.
To find the divine spark, they run a matter in how do you say, in canals under the ground, above the ground, in a very, very high speed, to find the divine spark. Right. And guess what?
It's inside the person.
Yes.
Trying to find it externally with a collision of atoms and all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not in the development. It's the opposite direction.
We'll do anything we can to avoid going within instead.
Can I ask a question that probably doesn't have anything to do with the conversation?
Of course, it's always open.
Um, I was just wondering if you can tell me anything about the number 33. I don't think I don't know anything about what it means.
Yes. I was thinking about it when I was listening to your recording. The number
Really?
33, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Who would like to relate to the number 33? Did you hear about the number 33? Would you like to think about it? Rodrigo, Felipe, good morning, Felipe. I hope you can hear us. 33. It's the first time you hear about the number?
Like obsessed with this number, and I'm wondering if it was because of the read yesterday, because I've dreamt about it and like literally it's consumed my morning. And so this is the first time I've heard about it.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
If we add two here, this is the tree of life, 233. But 33 by itself is the spirit. So we can take 3, yes, 3 double 3, this is 9. But also it stands for Gal or Gilui, revelation. It can stand for revelation.
Thank you. That'll help me.
This is helping you?
I was just it's like I woke up this morning at 4:13 and then every time I went to sleep I see 303 or 33 or 333 is on my paper or everything is 33 today. And so it's just been an interesting morning.
It's revelation. Usually 33 we have Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer. 33 of counting of the Omer, Lag BaOmer. This is a revelation, 33.
Well, thank you.
It's also, if we take, the name Elohim and we give it to each letter of the name Elohim, a letter before it, we arrive at 33. Yes? Yes, Jeff?
I remember you doing an exercise once connecting the number 111 with 33, and which was Jesus' age when he was crucified, and you showed 111. I think there was the word for sacrifice or something.
Yes.
And then it comes to 144, but you had a beautiful picture of it.
Yes, very good. The word Aleph, yes, is 111 plus 33. We have 144. Also, I think it was Korban Olah. I think it was Olah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It was.
Yes, 33 stands for revelation. Also, the word Gal is a wave. Gal is 33. So we have a wave at the sea. Let's say this is the sea level and there's a wave coming. This is when we see a wave. Why do we have the ability to see the wave? There's a wind pushing the water and suddenly there is a revelation. The water are standing. So Gal, wave, also has the value of 33. So it's about revelation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
T,
Yes.
I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I once someone tells me that there are 33 vertebras in the spine, human spine, and some people relate this. How can I say? There is a path like the 32 the wisdom, 32.
Yes. Lanes of
I know.
wisdom.
Yes, yes. And there are 33 vertebrae in the human spine. Just to mention, because I don't know how could this help Jill, but I just want to share this information.
Thank you. Jill, did you
Thank you,
hear?
Rodrigo. Yeah, I was listening. It's really interesting.
Yes.
I always like this combination of numbers too, with 111 and 33. There's so many aspects to it, and it's so deep. Um, and J.R.R. Tolkien seemed to be a word wizard and a number wizard as well. And he was indicating in his story, Lord of the Rings, something special about this combination when he wrote that the two main characters, Bilbo and Frodo, shared the same birthday, September 22nd. And when one was 111 and the other was 33, they had a big birthday party, and it was at a special tree, and it was like a long expected party is what he calls the chapter. But um, he said that this combination of 144 was special. Of course, we've been talking about that as Adam and Truth for a long time, but
Yes.
it's like a turning point. In this story, he writes, it's a significant turning point when these two numbers come together.
That's true. We usually we don't think about this to unite like two things together. Like here in the story of Tolkien, there's a party which unite two different people with different ages. We don't look at life in general in this way, but this is very interesting to think about that. And it's beautiful because we experience, and this is what I was thinking about to speak to you also yesterday. We were taught to look at reality as linear. There's a birth here. From 0 to 10, we experience something from 10 to 20, and so on. This is how we are taught, and there's a CV, what is happening to us. But this is not the whole truth. Every moment, and Thomas Mann writes about it in his book, Joseph and his brother, every moment is a complete moment. So at 0, we experience complete life. And we move, and whenever we move, we experience completion. We were taught to think only linearly. We were taught only to relate to the one. We were not taught to relate to a dream, to the 0, to the beginning of the months, to a dream.
Oh, so that's the update that's being given here with this new counting then,
Yes.
to look at things from the 0 instead of the 1 perspective all the time.
Excellent.
Because just in the 1 perspective then is the slavery that plagues mankind, but in the 0 perspective, then mankind can experience its freedom.
Yes. It is interesting. Yeah.
That is profound.
Every moment that we experience is complete. We are not educated. It's a matter of education. We were not educated to look and to experience every moment as a completion. Excuse me, it's cold here a bit. I'm sorry. We are not taught or educated to look. We are always. This is also the commercial around us. People watch TV for several years. We don't watch TV, so there's always broadcasting from the world, like pumping what we are lacking.
Right. Right.
Always like constant flow. You will lack this, the part, whatever. Everything is lacking.
And there's always an answer to give you. You know, somebody's got the perfect answer to give you what you're lacking. But if you're not lacking anything, then this is like water off a duck's back. It just flows off you because you're already complete, and you're just walking with the Lord. You speak his ways, you know, speak his word, and be at peace, you know, be at peace, and bring peace to others by your speech, your conduct. But that gets challenged. People want you to join in with their turmoil.
This is what Weinreb mentioned is toxicity.
Okay.
He always, I think Jill was reading in her book, I mean, beautifully, this is what the worlds want, the toxicity. This is what runs the world, the toxicity. Not the truth.
Yeah.
And he warns from this, yes?
He warns specifically about that, huh? That's very very good. Yeah, it's you know, and I think we all encounter it ourselves, but then we also encounter it with our friends and so on. That toxicity, and again, they want to dump it on you to join in. And it's to keep your heart out of that playing field is actually pretty tough at times, and not to get caught up in a dialogue that's toxic. That's pretty tough. But I think I'd like to hear more about what Weinreb says about that toxicity. But
listen to Jill. She's with a very good hearted and devotion. She's recording like chapters from the book, The Amazing Scroll of Esther, and
right.
I'm listening to it every day, a few times. I mean, it's sometimes really few times per day. Just it's amazing what is written there.
Yeah, that keeps you out of toxicity for sure.
Yes.
It's definitely been helping me. I've been learning a lot from that book.
It's also a matter of decision. A person with himself through the course of his life. There's like between one and himself, he says, I don't want this in my life. And it is to pay a price, because we are removing ourselves from, toxic areas or toxic regions. There's a price.
Yeah.
So the question is, are we willing to pay the price of being far from those circles that in the beginning they seemingly supplies us with seemingly warm water of familiarity, but it's bitter. So I'd rather not we'd rather not go into those places, and you say, okay, this is a toxic relations or toxic surroundings. So some people choose the soul. It's a constant choice. It's not that once we made a decision like several years ago. It's life is challenging, and every moment they bring a new choice, a new decision.
Mhm.
Yes, this is it.
In that conversation, we're talking about, the mouth speaking and the action following, and but the mouth has to speak the things of truth and the things that come from this awareness that we are complete. Every moment is complete,
Yes,
and we got to speak from that perspective and that platform,
yes,
and speak this to whoever will listen in our conversations. And because otherwise, people are looking for peace. They just don't know that it comes from knowing you're complete, that the Lord has given you everything.
yes,
We don't have to buy this premise that we're lacking stuff, that and that the world can fix it for us, because they'll continually put commercials and ads and dump things at you all the time to feed that notion. But to speak from that place, that foundation of God's word, that it's all, in the beginning, it's, he did it, he spoke it, it's perfect, God's word is complete, and it's actually telling us what we are. So if we believe it, have faith, and then speak from that, then these conversations perhaps can help others to find that truth, right?
yeah. But
And so that,
also, yes, yes,
well, then you were talking about the conversation that goes all night from that platform.
yes.
What else were you going to say, Eddie?
It is very important to speak to you because this weekend was a bit long. We did not meet on Saturday, and I noticed the influence. So it's like a reality check, those conversations. It is very important to communicate, whether through our conversations here on Discord or through messages, and so it's very, very important to the sense of ground.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe Fernando wants to speak. Rodrigo, would you like to say something? Quiet. Thank you all for coming today. I think that, yes,
No, just to say thank you, Etty. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff, you, and Fernando. It was a great time that I spent here with all of you. Thank you very much.
thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Rodrigo.
And thank you. And
Thank you, friends.
thank you, Fernando. And please feel free to ask questions. We shall answer those questions.
Shalom, Eti.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Liziani. Shalom, shalom. Wishing you a wonderful week. Wonderful week ahead. Also, people on YouTube, thank you for coming today. See you tomorrow at the same time.
Obrigada igualmente.
Great, Etty. See you tomorrow. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Well,